All right, everybody, welcome. Thanks for coming out tonight to the Safety and Operations Committee. We have an agenda where we will move somewhat quickly. Mr. Miller is not with us tonight. He is sick. So we're going to do our best without him. Here's our agenda tonight. We have 3 quick items. From a safety perspective, we'll have, and I'll just move on. The Limerick nuclear drill we participated in on November 18th, just a couple of days ago. Middle School West, Evergreen, and Skipback participated. Remember, they tell us what buildings they want to participate. We support the members from operations, transportation, and administration departments. There were 6 total evaluators, 2 at each school, and 3 from the PEMA group and 3 from the FEMA group. And in the initial hot wash after everything, the tabletop exercise went along, took about an hour and a half until it was all done, was positive. They did, of course, have some suggestions and some feedback as far as the ways that we went about doing some things, finalizing some ideas. One of the things that we did discover is that at every step of every action item through Limerick, when it is announced, we have to get a brand new attendance and a brand new census of the staff in the building. The attendance is not the problem. The staff issue is the problem, because we were pushing out reports every day at 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning, depending on which building it was, that said, here's your staff for the day. But we all know that staff changes during the day. So now we're thinking about better ways of giving the principals the ability to get that information as quick as they can, every step of the way, just like the attendance for the students. Overall, that was the one big thing that I took from that. Ryan did participate. Joe participated as well. I don't know if you guys want to add anything. You don't have to. We do expect a full report within 120 days from those groups.
Will that report be discussed here, or are you going to bring it to the full board?
So typically we don't talk about those things in the full board. We can bring it here.
Okay, great. And then the only other thing I'll point out, and I think it's just a point, just for the record, is that this is an internal office-based drill. This is not a school-wide drill like a lockdown drill. Right. So I just want to say that for the record, that it's an office-based administration level drill. Okay.
Okay, good clarification. Thank you.
Also, Mr. Weaver, do they still require schools to have iodine tablets on hand in case?
No, actually, as a matter of fact, it's up to the individual schools to determine if they want to participate in the KI program or not. We have chosen not to, and when this first was coming about years ago, conversation was really around nurses and the nurses' reluctancy to say, hey, everybody has to take the KI pill then and have something happen. So at that point in time, we took our process from that and decided that if parents want to send in the KI pills, they can get them for free through the county, but we would not be participating in that. Okay, a quick update for bus patrol numbers. The good thing here is that we have a total, since we started, that's the left column, and on the right side is for our school year. So the good thing is you can see we started in April, and the vast majority of those items, the first couple of months were heavy as far as generating these tickets that people were going past school buses with their stop arms out. Over the past several months, 5 months, that number has gone down a little bit. So that is what we want to see. Remember, we looked at this not as an opportunity for a revenue stream, but really as an opportunity to provide an additional safety for our students with this process. And by and large, our citizens are responding. So that's a good, positive thing. Okay, to continue along with what Chief Miller was going to talk about, we continue to look for grant funding. One of the grants that we have been entitled to is through the MCIU. We have 2 programs that we're running through that. One is the safety training for supplemental staff, which includes those areas such as first aid, CPR, and stop the bleed. It will help us to cover about 90 additional personnel, and that would be provided for about $7,600, again, through the IU grant. Another item is we are looking at having window blinds and door coverings This was a recent topic that came up last month, and we're following through on that. So Chief Miller worked with Mr. Fabrizio to come up with the number of window blinds and door coverings and an estimated cost. And so it's about $19,058. So we're moving forward with that.
I appreciate all the work that you did to pull that together. Do we need to wait on the grant funding, or can we actually reimburse ourselves?
The way that it works is we can reimburse ourselves for the IU. That's a little bit different because it runs through the IU. If this was any other grant, we could not have any kind of an expense prior to the date
Until
of
we got
approval.
awarded the funding?
Yes.
Okay, so with that said, will that appear on December's agenda for approval?
Yes.
Wonderful. As long as we're all okay with that as a safety item. Great, thank you.
Okay. Also, as part of this budget, we had 2 part-time positions. One was an additional school police officer, and one was a school security guard for half-time positions, basically from 3 to 9 at night. I do know that Mr. Moran and Chief Miller have finalized, and they do have several candidates that they're following up on with backgrounds and reference checks. Hopefully, they will be officially hired within the next 2 to 3 weeks, which means that would set them up for December board approval. Hopefully, again, all of those background checks, and there are significant ones for our SPOs and our SSGs, come into play. Any questions on that? Okay, so moving forward into the operations department, tonight we have Mr. Felty, who's our athletic director, and a gentleman by the name of Bob Hartman, who is here from Digital Sports to present us with an opportunity for us to address some needs within our gymnasiums. Mr. Felty.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I guess just to introduce what we're doing here, Pennsylvania is one of the few states, well, across the country that doesn't have a shot clock for basketball. The PIAA has now passed on a second reading basis that they will be approving shot clocks for the 28 season. So that coincided with Mr. Hartman reaching out to me. He wanted to just come out and see our facilities and look at the scoreboards that we had here at the school. And basically, it coincided with me already looking into potentially having to get shot clocks in the future, which usually run around $10,000. And so because of that, he came out and we started to brainstorm and try to come up with a plan on how to upgrade our scoreboards in the gymnasium while also installing shot clocks that we were going to need anyway. So basically, that's my introduction. At this time, I'll turn it over to Mr. Hartman, who will present digital scoreboards.
Thank you. Appreciate the time to be here this evening. I've known Bob for a pretty long time from his previous days in District 11. Just a little bit of background. I was a high school athletic director at Whitehall High School in District 11 for 23 years. Prior to that, I was a teacher, so I've been in public education for 30 years. We, as a school, started to work with Digital Scoreboards, the company, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, to integrate into our school community, to engage our community, to enhance the experience for not only spectators, but for our student athletes and get them more engaged. And we're pretty proud to say that it's been very successful. Upon my retirement this summer, doing prospecting and knowing Bob and knowing that you guys have a great community and a great school district, reached out to him, as he said, with shot clocks coming, to try to find a way to help you guys out to get across the finish line when it comes to that. And so looked at facilities, we're into the gym, talked about shot clocks, and pretty excited to be able to roll out a proposal for you all. Our company name is called Digital Scoreboards, but I got to be honest with you, as we talk about it tonight, this is so much less about a scoreboard than it is about, quite honestly, the regular school day. And I can give you first-hand experience. We're the 3rd or 4th largest company in the country. We've done over 1,000 installations. We have a bunch of installations now in the eastern part of Pennsylvania, including some local here as well in the area, and we're continuing to grow and expand. Started as a one-person company, and now we have about 30 employees that we're pretty excited and happy about as we continue to grow. The next slide just I'm going to fly through this. I know that Mr. Weaver, he can share this with you. It's a link, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on many of these things. We talk about our process. You can read about me, I guess, if you really want to. I'd encourage you not to. Not much to see there, but talking about an indoor facility here for you guys. And we have a bunch of installations on the presentation. You can hear some firsthand information. But lucky enough to be able to put something really competitive and really cool together for you all at Perk Valley. Mr. Weaver, we can keep flying through these specs that, again, you can take the time to read. Latest technology, latest software. One thing that we're very proud of in our company, we are in the top band of quality in terms of the technology that you're going to receive and the components and all those things that you can read about. We are the best company in the country when it comes to warranty and service. We're talking about indoor products here today. You're going to get a 7-year parts, 7-year labor warranty from us. No one in the country will be able to match that, all right? So that's something if you're very comfortable about. On average, when there's a problem, and it's, again, being completely frank, it's technology and it's electronics, and so there will be problems. Bob, your IT department, whoever it may be, will talk to someone, a human being, not AI, not a computer, not a voicemail, within 87 seconds. We study that data and study those analytics religiously. So 87 seconds, they're going to talk to a human being. Within 7 minutes, we'll be able to fix the problem remotely. And if there is a bigger issue, we'll have someone on site within 24 hours. The good thing about having someone on site is you never have to wait for parts. 3% of everything that goes into your boards will be on site here, so we just need to get you an individual. At Whitehall, we worked with someone from Valley Forge. I would imagine you're going to work with the same guy. And so 24 hours is probably a stretch in those situations, but the parts are here, he comes, he gets you fixed, and he's back on the road. And that will happen. So our service and warranties, industry standard. As we work through here, we'll talk a little bit more about custom animations as they apply to our DS Academy program, which I think is the big sell for you folks. We are CoStar's Omnia co-op purchasing, which makes it very easy, saves, again, time and money, and you're getting your best and most competitive price when it comes to co-op purchasing. But our program that we're offering, Perk Valley, is what's called our DS Media program, okay? It's empowering schools to get to where they need to get with net zero cost. One of our models is a 50-50 rev share, and that's where you're buying everything up front. We're not interested in that at Perk Valley. We have a better model for you, okay? But within that program, DS Media, as you will be able to see the proposal in your package, is something called DS Academy. I've talked to athletic directors and principals and superintendents all over the place, all through New England, and two things I always hear. I don't want to talk to you because we don't have the money, and I don't have the time to get this stuff done. So as a part of this package is something called DS Academy. It's a creative division led by Don Goebel, who was an educator in Illinois, and now he lives in Toms River, New Jersey. It's curriculum that teaches your students how to get involved with this project. It's creating content, it's running cameras, it's running boards, it's using IT, it's marketing, all of those types of things to have your students engaged in the process. It saves Bob Felty, as the athletic director, a ton of time because he's not worried about creating content because we have kids doing that, which is phenomenal. It's teaching them real life lessons. It's giving them opportunities to move into other careers. So the DS Academy program is included in the package. It's for 7 years. This guy, Mr. Weaver's not going to play this now, but when you get the chance. So this young man was in Don Goebel's class in Illinois. He enrolled in college. He lasted a semester. He's about 21 years old, making hundreds of thousands of dollars, being the part of the McLaren racing team, creating content for that company. So he decided after a semester he's learned so much in his high school pathway that he can not have to worry about college, which is not something we generally talk about, but it's a career pathway where this young man's taken what he's learned from this curriculum and put it into real life practice, and he has an unbelievable job just a few years out, okay? There's some testimonials here. One of those testimonials that you get to see on this video as well is Hazleton High School. That's Fred Barletta. Fred and Hazleton have a ton of our products, and they've been incredibly excited about those. They have aquatics, they have the high school gym, they have baseball, they're getting softball, they're getting football, they're getting track and field. So they have adeptly used their ESSERS funds to get to where they needed to get on this. But that's something as well that you can take a listen to. Fred's a great ambassador for our company and speaks very highly of it. In addition to that,
So Bob, if I could.
yeah.
The testimonials here, again, you guys can go in and you can click on them. We did see this particular one for Hazleton. It's worth it. It's worth the 5 or 10 minutes that he goes through it.
Absolutely. Within our DS Media program, again, I'm going to go back and talk a little bit about DS Media. That's what we're talking about with all of you folks. It deals with curriculum, deals with hands-on experience for your students. It's getting, this is the, no problem. That's the Palisades testimonial, which is not that far from here. Palisades was one of our original schools here in Pennsylvania. It's real life experience for your kids. I think one of the motivations as a former educator and former athletic director is we always had a goal of trying to get kids involved in more things after school, because we felt more kids that are engaged after school, they feel importance during the school day. We have kids create content, and now they can brag to their parents and their friends when the stuff's up on the board, hey, I did that. It's really a great sense of pride as you work through this, and it's an awesome part of our DS Media program. Again, coverage through 7 years of that program that we're going to present to you. There's also some information from Susquehanna University. A little bit about, I'm going to throw the proposal up here because quite honestly, what was that? Go back one? Oh, Mr. Weaver. Yeah, there we go. I met with Bob and Mr. Weaver in the beginning of September. And since then, we gave them a proposal which, again, fit the needs at that point. But as I was reviewing it this morning, I thought we can do better because we've changed our supply chain in our company within the last few weeks. So I'm very excited to be able to roll this out to you all today. In the beginning of September, and again, if you look at the proposal that's in front of you, this is what is going to be included. In September, we talked about a 12:7 digital board and a 9:5 digital board. When we reviewed it again this morning, because I thought this number is a little too high, we can do better, we were able to transition to two 12:7 digital boards. It includes all trim, it includes all AV, it includes installation, delivery, everything from beginning to end. There's one thing or two things that it does include. It's power and data. And generally in a high school gym where you already have boards up, it's not a huge transition, but schools are responsible for power and data. It includes our ScoreVision software, again, and that's where student athletes are getting engaged with creating content to be able to put on the software. It's cloud-based. It's a 7-year subscription. That subscription alone is $7,500 a year. We're rolling that into your package, so that'll be able to give you a real sense of worth with that. There's the DS Academy 7-year curriculum program. You guys have a great school, so I would imagine currently in your building you either have clubs or classes that are already engaged in media, journalism, content creation, whether it's a club or a class. We're going to help you make that even better and more robust to get your students involved. You're going to get an animation package every year. We're going to give you new graphics that you don't have to worry about, that are going to be constantly on the software and easy upload. I'm not going to tell you it's 24/7 online tech, but it's probably 21/7. So we have installations all over the country. Our service department closes the phones after the last game on the West Coast, which is probably about 1 or 2 a.m. here, and opens in the morning at 7 a.m. So if you have a problem at 2 a.m., I think there's other issues, but you're going to get someone pretty much 20 to 21 hours a day, 365 days a year. So all holidays, we have someone manning the phone, so there's always someone to talk to. On top of that, there's all on-site technical work, system commissioning, installation, pre-installation, hardware, all the trainings that go with this, removal and disposal, if you'd like, of your existing boards. But if you want to keep those boards and repurpose them, I would encourage you, if they're usable, by all means, go ahead and do that. We'll still take them down for you, and you can put them where you want. Installation on the CMU, which is in your gym. It's smooth block wall. We're fine there. We're going to include scissors lift. We're going to include 7 years on-site parts and labor. 3 years parts, again, 7 days a week, in-house support, all freight. So this is how the program works. We're going to divide your payments over 7 years. Currently, your payment for this in September was like $35,900. We've been able to cut that down and add your board, a bigger board now for $25,000. But here's the kicker. In the DS Media program, your cost is net zero. So beyond this, we're going to help you sell advertising. We're going to do that for you, and we're going to guarantee that $25,000 a year payment every year for 7 years. So I'll say today's November 20th or so. If you were to sign the contract right now, on the anniversary date, you'd pay us $25,000 for your year one. On the anniversary date next year, we're going to give you that $25,000 back. If we generate $1,000 in advertising, you're still getting $25,000 back. So every year for 7 years, that's going to be the cycle. On top of that, on the revenue share for generating advertising, there's administrative costs, there's 20%, and then you take out your $25,000. We're going to share revenue with you. You're going to get 25%, we're going to get 75%. So at the end of year one, when you get your $25,000 back, we generally don't engage in communities where we don't think we can do $100,000 in revenue. So we anticipate every year being able to cut you an additional check for the rev share that will help you use whatever you want, right? The difference in this proposal for year one is Bob has talked about shot clocks and backboard lights. They're not included in that $25,000 a year cost. That would be another year one upfront cost. At this time, it's about $12,800. So your year one payment would ultimately be $37,800, and then $25,000 a year after that. We're going to give you $25,000 back every year through 7 years. You own the product from day one. It's not a lease. It's your product. And any revenue share every year you will get as well in terms of reimbursement when it comes to money we're generating. So ultimately, net zero cost and additional revenue. We wouldn't be sitting here with you tonight giving you this program if we didn't think we could do a great job in advertising in this community at large. I mean, it's a great community. And it's a real positive program. Some of you are probably sitting here thinking, this is a scoreboard, okay? And this is a lot of money for a scoreboard. I would ask you to sort of think about this. It's in your gym, okay? You're going to use it as a scoreboard 3 or 4 hours a day, I don't know, 80 days a year. You're going to use it as a curriculum tool in phys ed from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., 180 school days. I will tell you, as the athletic director at Whitehall, my office was right by the gym. Every day I walked into the gym where we had digital boards, our phys ed teachers were doing some awesome, crazy things, whether it was yoga, whether it was aerobics, whether it was heart rate monitors, whether it was student assemblies, whether it was bringing we had elementary schools come to our gyms for pep rallies. Is really way more for curriculum than it is for athletics. The time that you're using it for athletics is minuscule compared to the time that you're using it curriculum-based. So don't just think of it as a scoreboard. That's the message. If I could give you that message, that would be the reality of it. And again, net zero plus revenue for you over 7 years. The proposal is in the link. There's contract language in there. If we have the opportunity to get there with you and get to a contract, obviously Mr. Weaver has this to share with school solicitor to review. We're often very amenable to any changes that need to be made to fit your needs. But that's what I have for you, and I would love to entertain any questions that you may have on the product or our process or anything along those lines.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
taking the time to present.
Sure.
Does anyone have any questions? Okay, go ahead, Bob.
Sorry, I had to reach for it. Part of this is you said that you would be getting advertising for our schools and putting it up there. What is the process for approving these ads? Because we do have a policy regarding advertisements. Will it go to the business office first for approval?
Yeah, so you have absolutely a right of refusal on anything that we're doing. We're going to talk to you before we get remotely, we work with schools every day, so we're not getting into the questionable things, which as an athletic director, I had those questions all the time. Are we going to sell to a bar or a beer distributor? We're not even entertaining those conversations, but absolutely Perkingham Valley would have right of refusal on any of these agreements. From the jump, whatever it would be, absolutely. We're not going to do anything to not only put you in a negative light, we don't want to put ourselves in a negative light. So again, we're boots on the ground. It's not cold calling. We're not going to have someone calling from Arkansas or Illinois. We're going to have someone here in the community setting up appointments, talking to your community members, talking to your business owners. Quite honestly, first conversation will be with Mr. Weaver, and we'll try to talk to your vendors who work in the school district and leverage those partnerships. That's sort of some low-hanging fruit for us, right? And so, yeah, you guys are, I will say, in control of the content that goes on that board every step of the way.
Go ahead, Bob.
Oh, sorry. Can the school itself have advertisements that it is solicited, let's say through people that we already have relationships with, or do they have to filter through your company in order to go on that board?
I would answer the question this way. We want everybody pulling the rope in the same direction. I will tell you at Whitehall, as the athletic director, we had pre-existing relationships with St. Luke's University Health Network. We had a couple local businesses that we carved out of the contract and said, you can't go solicit these companies. We already have that. We have that pre-existing relationship. Whether it was a parent who owned a business who had donated for 10 years, that was the school district's responsibility. We don't want 5 different groups going after the same people, and that's why I say let's pull the rope in the same direction. We do this with professionals, and I think I talked to Bob about this previously. We realize that booster clubs go out and they try to solicit funds and they get things to help their programs. We're going to work with those groups as well, where we're changing the math so they can still get the piece that you guys decide that you want them to have. Whether, I use this as an example all the time, and I don't even know if you do it here. The baseball outfield $500 fence sign, right? That's sort of a thing in a lot of communities. We don't want to get in the way of that. We want to make it better, right? And so now that we have the indoor opportunities to advertise, maybe we roll in the outdoor board at the football stadium. We're going to change that revenue share as well. But we want to really, let's pull the rope in the same direction. We just don't want multiple groups going out there. But if you have a few pre-existing relationships, we're not going to get in the way with those. When we get to a contract, we carve that right out in the contract. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
I just was going to ask about lead time.
So from contract signing, we're generally 8 to 10 weeks. I'm very proud of the process that we follow. We're engaged with a number of schools right now in that. Again, let's use November 20th as contract signing date. Within 1 week, we're going to get the players at Perk Valley School District, Bob Felty, Mr. Weaver, IT, facilities. We're going to have a kickoff call, and we're going to talk through primitive things. And within a week, generally a week after that, we fly someone in from our corporate office in Illinois, and they're going to be here, and they're going to take pictures, and they talk to all of those same people. So when we come back at that point, 6 to 7 weeks later, there are no surprises. There are no change orders. We get that stuff taken care of on the front side, and we don't want to surprise anybody at all. So I'll tell you confidently 8 to 10 weeks. In this case, talking with Bob, you'll be in great shape. The fact that we're probably looking after the winter sports season. You don't have boys volleyball here, so there's a huge window, right? Everybody wants their boards installed in the summer. If you can get your board installed in April or May, you're going to have pick of the litter and when you want that done. So really, it becomes much more flexible for you. But as you can guess, summer's open time for everybody, and everybody wants it done at that point. But 8 to 10 weeks, sometimes quicker.
Okay,
Yep.
great. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I think we'll follow up with Mr. Weaver and talk about timing and potential funds.
What's the impact rating on these? Can they take a hit from a ball?
Yeah, so I had the same question 6 years ago when we installed ours, and I guess I would say this sort of tongue-in-cheek. Everybody has the same kids in their gym classes. And at first I said to Chris, the owner, I said, Chris, do we need to put a net in front of these things? Because I don't want them to get damaged. And he's like, no, don't put a net in front of it. First of all, it distorts the view and what you see in terms of live video. But indoors, we're working on 20 by 20 inch panels. So if a ball hits it, if a volleyball hits it, probably nothing will happen whatsoever. If someone fires a baseball at it, different story. But what's going to happen is that 20 inch panel is going to pop out. It may or may not break. It likely will break. You have them. You get on service. Someone will be out. They'll replace it for you. Quick switch. We send the bad part back. You get a new good part, so you have it when you need to. Quite honestly, it's daisy chained. It's sort of serial ported. Probably someone on your staff could do it in 5 minutes. But yes, we have those kids everywhere, and we have not at Whitehall in 6 years lost a panel, which is odd. But most schools say they don't ever have those issues, amazingly. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hartman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Felty. Again, as we're tasked with thinking outside the box to see if we can get some of these things addressed, is an opportunity for us, and we're really, really looking hard at it. So we appreciate the support from the Safety and Operations Committee. Okay, Mr. Fabrizio is here.
All right. Varsity softball fencing. This thing keeps echoing. So we're we're in the process of obtaining quotes right now for the varsity softball field. Initial quotes were around $24,000 for the field with two, what are they? Foul poles put in. And this is going to go through capital reserve and the general fund to pay for this item. We're also moving the outfield track in to make a warning track. We're going to be handling that in-house with grounds. My ground supervisor, Josh Bertolf, is working with Mr. Felty and the girls softball coach to define that area on where that warning track has to go. So we're working through that now. Any questions?
So I don't really know a lot about warning tracks, shockingly, but it seems as though there's probably some guidelines about them in terms of the material and drainage. And so if we're going to do it in-house, how are we getting the information about that?
So there was an existing warning track before the fence, I was told, was moved in. So we're going to mimic what was there and work with neighboring schools to see how they've done it.
Do we have access to lower perk consultation, or is that helpful or not? Or
I mean,
they
it's still
help
going
with
to
our
be considered pervious surface, so we're not creating.
okay. No,
like,
but from the grading and the material standpoint.
basically, we're going to dig out, strip the soil with a sod cutter, go down about 4 inches, and then put a cinder-like material in.
Okay. And then you said you're getting quotes, you have 24 grand in there as a placeholder, and Mr. Weaver has earmarked reserves from capital reserve. Okay, so would you be looking to have that approved in December? Does anyone have any issue with that? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next is camera licensing. During the course of the project, it was discovered we ran a little bit short on licensing for the new server. There were some analog devices that looked like one device, but there were multiple devices, which was overlooked. So we need an additional about $12,000, which will come from the capital reserve and the general fund to pay for this item to make our system fully compliant. Any questions on that? Yeah.
Thank you.
Couple other things. We're gearing up for 2 more fire alarms this summer at Skipback and Schwenksville. So we already have all the material in hand that's currently staged up at West and District Storage. We're blocking out those sites and working with staff at that building for this project. We're also doing the HVAC closeout at the high school and middle school east, just going through, doing punch list things right now. So that's should be wrapped up in about a month or so. Any questions on that?
On the previous slide, do those buildings, Skipback and Schwenksville, do they need to be down for duration?
Yeah, they're,
For how long? The whole summer?
Yeah.
Just like East?
Mhm.
Okay.
and I'll be blocking them off through the FMX calendar so they can't be scheduled.
Okay, and then are things already scheduled in those buildings for the summer? Are ongoing activities? I can't think of any off the top of my head, but.
Not at this time, but we are aware, the Indian Valley YMCA has typically rented space in the
Yeah.
summertime. I did explain to them last year that for the summer of '25, they were fine, but their neighbors were experiencing the same similar thing over here when we blocked out Evergreen East and West. So we moved some programs around. We have not yet had the conversation from a curriculum standpoint about summer programs. However, South is still available for us, like last year came in a pinch for us.
Okay, for library access, et
yes,
cetera.
absolutely.
Okay, and then same with the HVAC. The HVAC is not offline, correct?
No, we're just doing.
We're just finishing up
Project
that.
closeout.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. But the fire alarm is just like East was this summer, where it's the whole building offline from June to, got it. Yep, thank you.
Okay, as you all know, we're still working through struggles with the aging and antiquated clock and paging system here at the high school. Work continues on this issue. We don't have a recommendation at this time, but I have been sourcing and working with different vendors, attending presentations on what we can do. So I just have an initial quote. It's around 180,000 to put in new digital displays that also act as they can tie in with our Raptor system, so we can push alerts to all the boards, push messages, the bells, clocks through those as well. So the next slide, it's kind of a picture. It's a 22-inch display that would go over top, replace where the current clocks are, and we'd be able to page through that as well, push custom messages, bells, and whatnot through there.
Are there very many vendors that do this work?
No,
Okay, so,
they are on a state contract. They are on Peplum.
okay, what is holding up your recommendation?
We're exploring all avenues just to make sure I'm working with Mr. Ganesh and his team to make sure this is the right solution.
Okay.
It is network heavy, so I have to make there's
You
not
have
just
enough
the
cable
clock. We got to
run
make
and-
sure there's
yeah,
enough,
right.
PoE ports in the closets. What closets we're going to run to? Do we need additional cabling to every location? There's about 180 clocks in the high school alone,
Right.
so it's a heavy lift.
And then what happens if it goes down?
Yeah, so then we have
Yeah.
to think about, battery backup, generator
Yeah.
power, what's being fed. It's a lot.
Does anyone have any questions about the clock and the paging system? All right, to me, this is a pretty high priority. I'm assuming it would really improve. Do you have anything to add, Dr. Sachs? Just, I'm sorry.
We get knocked offline anytime, even in the past 2 days, we get knocked offline, right, as soon as we lose electricity, right? So, we come in, the bells aren't working, we're resetting things, and some of it's, a natural thing, but at the same time, it's a constant, what's going on today, so.
And then this is all web-based, so you don't have to pick up a phone and, navigate some ancient schematic on how to program this thing. You just click, okay, here, and you're done. You can do it from your couch, so.
So this is clocks and paging, not HVAC.
Not HVAC.
It won't handle heat or air. Okay, all right.
Ms. White, that's a really good point. I think Joe kind of answered it, but to give you a little bit of a background, we are trying to bring the correct team members onto the bus because this is our one opportunity to get this right. Because I think the last time we tried to internalize this without Mr. Fabrizio 10, 15 years ago, the PA systems were not in good shape, and we put a big hub, $46,000 hub at Evergreen, and then it was supposed to have spokes. That was fine, and it works, but it doesn't take into consideration the safety aspect of things that Dr. Sachs has really been a part of. Chief Miller, of course, and Karthik. They all have to be on the page, and then Joe has to make sure that it works right, and that it gives us what we needed to do. So that's why we're kind of moving a little slow with this, because we've got one opportunity and not many people do this. So we just want to make sure when we go out with a package, this is what we're looking for. The correct people are in the right spot, and then we can actually get it done and get a dollar figure. Actually, the dollar figure comes last, because this would address so many things that we need to be addressed. That's why.
And there's a link in there too, you guys can check out the web page. It's the high school pocket paging systems component, so you can check that out.
Yeah, so I really appreciate the investment of this. I think that, it's critical to just the operation of the building, and then the safety aspect as well. So to me, it's a higher priority than some of the other things. Yeah, no, and I know that it is, but to me, in terms of the building options, specifically for the high school, this seems like one of the other ones. So if when you are ready to make the recommendation, you could include, in addition to the cost, of course, the lead time, when your installation timeline would be, and then in terms of interface, obviously you, and I'm assuming principals would have access, custodial will have access to it, how easily it is to interface with. Is it an app on the phone? Is it literally as simple as that? Or is it something more like a command post? Okay, so it is sort of that way. Okay, so I guess those are the top of mind questions. Obviously, install timeline is always my first question, because then when do we do it, and who's installing it? What type of service do we get? Those types of things. But to me, as soon as you have a recommendation, I think that this is a good priority to tackle.
That cost there is just for the hardware, that's not
Installation or,
structure behind it and all that.
right, so until they weigh, now will they weigh in, meaning the company, or,
Been on site, did a site survey, and that was
and do they feel as though we have enough line pulled?
to Mr. Ganesh about that.
Okay. So Mr. Fabrizio had said that they already did a site survey, and we're in the
Yeah.
process of talking to Mr. Ganesh about the
back
weight
end
of
part of
the.
it.
Okay, very good.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll look forward to more information about that. That's
Thank
great.
you.
That's very exciting.
And as Joe said, there is a link there. If you want me to, I can click on it.
Oh, you can try it.
Okay.
Check that. So it can tie into our fire alarm system, so when we do a fire drill, it can say like evacuate and pop on the screens. We can also leverage existing digital signage with called a black box that goes behind the TV. We can put things on the screen and so forth. So yeah, just click to the right on the arrow there. Click that guy. Oh, click that. Yeah, click
So is it it's two things. It's both the
again.
analog and the,
that. No, they're just showing.
different options? Okay.
Yeah.
So it would be the top one is the one you
Yep.
showed in the other
One more
picture?
time.
Okay.
And then you can kind of see on the right, you create your bell schedules. It's just point and click. Yeah. Yeah. One more. And you see the bottom left here, the different things you can pop up.
The other interesting thing to note is that this is also part of like the I Love You Guys Foundation. So, and we incorporate I Love You Guys throughout.
So when you're doing your drills, you can pop different things up on the screens in all the classrooms, things like that.
And it comes
So-
with that red button with the cover?
No, that's optional.
We should get that,
That's just a push button.
obviously, but look, it's like.
So the fire alarm, tie that in if there's an event. So that's it.
Yeah, correct. All right, very good. Okay, gosh, yeah. That's excellent.
Okay, so that's all we have for tonight. Any other questions?
If we could just go back really, really
Let's go.
quick, just
Yeah.
a couple of items,
Sure.
since we are really like ahead of schedule here, which is wonderful.
Absolutely.
So we talked about the cameras, bus patrol, pavings.
Paving,
Yeah, where do we stand on all of that?
I'm still
Hit your
working.
button, please.
I'm still working through quotes. I know there's some paving at West Schwanksville High School bus loop, so I'm still working on obtaining all the quotes as a package.
Okay, great. And there were two different types of pavings, right? So there's updating pavings for parking lots, I suppose at Schwanksville, for example, I'm thinking that's what you're talking about. And then the other paving, which was the entrance to South, if I remember correctly. And
That's
then
correct.
also the secondary exit areas.
Yeah,
But
so
that's a whole separate lane
We're still working with,
township.
is it Gilmore? With Gilmore, they've done their initial survey and working
Okay.
up recommendations.
Okay.
I actually answered an email the other day about kind of where things lie, and they've been out measuring, so.
Great.
We're still working through that process.
Do we have a meeting in December, Mr. Weaver?
We do not. We do
Okay.
not have one scheduled.
So I'm hoping maybe, could we do just a brief update on paving? Maybe even in a memo as to when, once you have the information collected, I want to get on people's calendars if we are going to go forward with, because I know sometimes waiting is,
It would definitely be a summer project.
okay,
Yeah.
wonderful. Okay, so that's that.
And yes, we can provide a weekend update when we get that information.
Perfect, I love that. Okay, then I have bathrooms.
Middle School East, the board approved the
Yep.
partitions, so the vendor will be out within, I think he's coming on maybe MLK Day.
Okay.
When school's not in session, do the final measurements.
Great.
And that'll be installed this summer.
Fabulous. Okay, and then we have the side door replacement, that's all, thumbs up. The drain systems, we talked about. Okay, and then we were talking additionally about all of the capital projects for the high school. I think we just need to have a deeper dive on that priority list and actually maybe putting some things in motion. That's what we had talked about. I think the last conversation was to allow for, obviously, the larger scale things are not immediate things, but more facilities upgrades or updates. Those would be maybe the first round of things. So I wanted to just bring that back around. We talked about the sound system, and I think that was it. So for approval for December, we have the door and window coverings that's every building, every door, every window. And you don't have to say yes, you can clarify.
I'll look into that.
Yeah.
Okay, because there were some exterior classroom windows that we were talking about, maybe putting, we had mentioned a film or something on, when it's not a internal window or door. Like for, in sightline windows, right, I guess is the good way to call it. And then, so that's gonna be for approval. You'll clarify that it covers the entire district. The varsity football fencing, you have your money, softball, I'm so sorry. And the foul poles, along with the warning track. And then, the camera licensing. Okay. With us just in the room for the record of the conversation that we had about the presentation of this scoreboard. I don't know, I think that was just a presentation, there's not necessarily a recommendation yet.
Not at this time. We've got to get the contract and we got to look at that. And of course, we have to give it to Mr. Subers and make sure that everything's okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
I guess from my 2 cents, in terms of priority, I know that we had talked, I understand about the shot clocks, and I'm not saying that that's not something that we'll need to find a solution for. However, we've talked about bleachers for the competition gym. We've talked about ceiling repairs and makeover. We've talked about the floors in the auxiliary gym needing to be updated, and we've talked about locker room updates. So I just wanted to point out that those are more facilities maintenance items and safety items and not a scoreboard. And I'll leave it at that.
Duly noted. Absolutely. They haven't gone anywhere. I know we continue to work on those, maybe not in as a consistent movement. but
As we
did it.
prioritize,
Yeah.
I guess is my point.
Yeah. I think the other thing is this was kind of a unique opportunity to maybe take care of something, and it's net zero. I know. I went through that process as
The
well.
net zero part of it, I mean, it was a great presentation, but 7 years is, it's not, I'm not seeing the total net zero piece of it. Maybe I just math in a different way.
I think the other thing is the question about, we have current sponsors, and you can't be tapping them, double tapping them.
Well, and we talked about the
Right.
sponsorship for the stadium, and I don't know that we've really,
We have not,
Yeah.
ever since Jess Lester.
but it does sound nice.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. I just want to make sure we're all on this.
So
same page
just
with that.
because we don't have anything to say about those other items doesn't mean we haven't.
No
we haven't
worries.
thought about them.
No, and I just was more for the record, that pointing out that these are items that are also competition gym related that are also important. So especially the bleacher piece of things. Yeah, okay, awesome. Anybody, anything else? Hot dog, 10 to 7.
Thank you all. No meeting in December, January.